News from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe. This is the Kyssfm SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, 6th March 2018. I am your presenter, Jawan Lyward, and these are your top stories. Nationally, Dr. Terence Yu is chastising Minister Eugene Hamilton for playing politics with healthcare. Internationally, China is passing a law allowing president for life. And in sport, top UK sports stars are being accused of doping. We'll also have a look at today's updated weather forecast. Now for a look at the news in detail. Minister of Health in St. Nevis, Honorable Eugene Hamilton, is being lambasted for allegedly playing politics within the ministry rather than looking out for the genuine interests of the wider population. St. Nevis Labour Party politician Dr. Terence Yu is leading the charge against Honorable Hamilton, stating that the minister has disrespected persons in the very constituency that elected him. Dr. Yu's criticisms are in connection with the state-of-the-art health centre that is currently being built in the village of Tabernacle. A disappointed Yu has said that this should never be and asserts that the priority being given to the nation's healthcare needs are skewed, as Keon is several times larger and more densely populated than Tabernacle. Keon, that's where the health centre should have been, Yu said.
Instead of Eugene Hamilton arguing that Keon should have the larger healthcare center because of the number of persons they serve and the services they give, the Tabernacle has the health center has gone to Tabernacle. Why? It is pure a political decision and not based on health policy. Because if it was based on health policy, that larger healthcare center would have gone into a population where the population is much larger. Look at that small health center in Keon with an expanding population, and go to Tabernacle with a much smaller population, have a large health center. It is not going to be utilized to the full extent. Labour will resolve that situation.
Trade stakeholders from the public and private sectors are currently participating in a 3-day seminar on the General Agreement on Trading Services in St. Kitts and Nevis, with the aim of better understanding the importance of services sectors from an international trade perspective. Facilitators for the workshop are Martin Roy and Dale Honeck, councillors both from the Trading Services and Investment Division of the World Trade Organization. At the start of the forum, Mr. Roy explained that he and his colleague will attempt to convey to participants the importance of international trade in the services sector and examine how the contributions of trade in services can improve performance in different services sectors for growth and development. He also underscored the importance of participants understanding St. Nevis's trade policy with respect to services across the government ministries and sectors that have regulations and policies that are important and that serve to achieve different services objectives. At present, the services sector in St. Nevis contributes to just over 70% of gross domestic product. Participants for Day 1 were drawn from the Ministries of Health, Finance, Education, Tourism, Telecommunications, Culture and Sports, and the Departments of Labour, Statistics and Legal and Port Services. Day 2 today will focus on participants from the private sector. The forum concludes on Wednesday, 7th March. Internationally, China's parliament is expected to approve a change to the constitution that would allow President Xi Jinping to stay on the job for life. The largely ceremonial National People's Congress is holding its annual conference in Beijing. Adrian Brown reports.
Tiananmen Square has been the setting for some of the most defining moments in recent Chinese history, not all of them peaceful. Now a new political drama is unfolding. This carefully choreographed gathering involves almost 3,000 delegates and almost as many journalists. Like Parliament, the media in China is controlled by the party, offering uniform coverage. The National People's Congress normally lasts for 10 days, but this year it's being extended by 5 days, possibly to give delegates more time to discuss proposed changes to China's constitution, which could mean Xi Jinping
being president for life.
The issue is overshadowing this Congress, but most delegates we spoke to didn't want to talk about it. I don't want to discuss it. Ask them, he said. And no comment from him either. Party discipline, though, will ensure the amendment is passed.
Those capable people should stay in their posts as long as possible.
The decision is made by the party. As a delegate, I fully support it.
The decisions made here will affect almost a fifth of humanity. Premier Li Keqiang presented his annual work report with his boss seated just a few rows behind him. He said the Communist Party, not the country, had faced an extremely complex environment both at home and abroad. In his 45-page address, he mentioned Xi Jinping 18 times.
We will rally even closer around the party central committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. Hold high the banner of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and follow the guideline Xi Jinping sought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era.
The Premier presented a vision of a vibrant, growing economy, but in language often reminiscent of the Mao era. And there was one overriding message. China will be great again, so long as Xi Jinping's at the helm.
And in sport, top UK sports stars have been accused of cheating the system after British MPs published a new report on doping. Former Tour de France winner Bradley Wiggins and fellow Olympic champion Mo Farah are the biggest names accused of taking performance-enhancing drugs using a medical loophole. Lee Wellings has the details.
He is one of the most successful and celebrated figures in the history of British sport. But Bradley Wiggins and his former cycling team have effectively been accused in UK Parliament of cheating.
This question about the ethics of the use of medicines, particularly if medicines are being used not primarily to treat medical need, but could enhance performance as well. And what we're recommending from the report is that this grey area should be cleared up.
At the centre of allegations is the mystery content of a package delivered to Wiggins during the Criterium de Dauphiné race in 2011, claimed by Team Sky to contain a decongestant for asthma and allergies. The report says a year later he used an anti-inflammatory and performance-enhancing drug to prepare for the biggest race in cycling, the Tour de France, which he won. Wiggins says he strongly refutes the claim any drug was used without medical need, but that's not a denial the drugs were performance-enhancing. Team Sky also says it strongly refutes the report's claim that their medication was to enhance performance. But it's another clear contradiction of the ethics set out by team principal Dave Brailsford that they'd have zero tolerance to doping. Another British Olympic hero, long-distance champion Mo Farah, is accused by the report of using a supplement before the 2014 London Marathon that was legal but not recorded on his records. There's a spotlight on the doctors involved in doping too.
The opportunity to use these very powerful drugs is given, if you like, as a privilege to those medical professionals. So they do have a responsibility.
The prospect of action against those accused of cheating is slim, as this was careful and sophisticated manipulation. The damage to sports stars will be mainly reputational, but these were people held up as heroes, and the trust in them and their sports is diminishing by the day.
And now for a look at today's weather forecast. Across the islands today, we will enjoy mostly sunny skies and mostly fair skies tonight with a very low chance for showers. The sea level pressure is 1015.3 millibars. Winds are northeast at 5 to 12 miles per hour, becoming variable or calm at times. Seas are very rough, swells 2.4 to 3.7 meters or 8 to 12 feet. Firm warnings remain in place for small craft operators and sea bathers against hazardous sea conditions. A warning remains in effect for beach goers for the large swells and high surfs, especially for the northern and eastern coastal waters of the islands where the largest swells are expected. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:25 a.m. and set today at 6:19 p.m. In the Eastern Caribbean forecast, the presence of a weak trough will result in mostly cloudy skies with periods of scattered showers across the southern Windward Islands, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago. Elsewhere across the Eastern Caribbean, skies will be fair to partly cloudy in general with a low chance for showers as a relatively dry and stable EMS sits across the area. Meanwhile, a strong Atlantic low-pressure system will continue to generate very rough sea conditions and high swells across most of the islands. That item brings us to the end of the Kyssfm SKN News Now Morning edition. Now for a recap of this morning's top stories. Nationally, Dr. Terence Jewish chastising Minister Eugene Hamilton for playing politics with healthcare. Internationally, China is passing a law allowing president for life. And in sport, top UK sports stars are being accused of doping. Thanks for tuning in for another SKN News Now. I've been your presenter, Javon Redwood.